in downtown Columbia, and I'm visiting with Robin Harrowford, and she's the grants manager for EdVenture. Robin, tell people what EdVenture is.
EdVenture is a children's museum. We've been here about 20 years. We have 3 locations in South Carolina, and we work with children from birth to age 10, inspiring in them the joy of learning.
Ah, and I think most people know it as the place where the giant kid is.
That's right, Eddie, our big boy.
He is a big boy. But we are in the garden, and I believe it originally started as a butterfly garden.
It was a butterfly garden for a season. We had a grant, and we brought in butterflies from all over the world. We had to have it sealed so that they couldn't get out and mess with the native species, but it was lovely.
Well, but now, in order to make it more relevant to children's lives and food and sustainability and good eating practices, y'all have changed it into a garden.
Right, an edible garden. A lot of it, there are flowers, and some of those are edible and some are not, but mainly of vegetables. We want children to be able to taste things and to become eaters of fresh food.
When they first come in, you kind of hook them by sense and sensation.
Yeah, one of the things that we have to do is be very careful that children know what to touch and what not to touch. So we've set up almost a little gallery of little low circular pots with herbs, and we show them how to be very gentle with their fingers to touch and smell.
And you had some interesting experiences this morning.
This morning we had a young man who came in and said, first of all, that the spearmint tasted like caramel, which was interesting. He also said that he could not smell anymore. He was all full of smells.
All full of smells. Well, they are wonderful smells. And then you lead them to the vegetables, and you talk about the importance of vegetables in diet, and then at times there are ways that the children actually help harvest vegetables. Can they sometimes, if there's a cherry tomato, can they sometimes taste?
Yes, we don't encourage everyone who comes through the museum to harvest, but we do have children who come in and we'll help them. We have Tasty Tuesday classes every other week, and we have a local chef, Jessica Carswell from the Food Academy, who comes in and helps kids harvest herbs and take them into the cooking lab and design food with them and cook it and eat it.
And they do that together.
They do.
So they learn about healthy eating,
right,
and the fact that food comes from the soil,
right,
and not necessarily the grocery store.
Exactly, exactly. And for some of them, it's quite a discovery.
Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah.
And do they, because they participated in it, do you find that they're willing to taste new things sometimes?
I do. We have found that some of the kids who were reluctant saw some of their peers tasting things, and then they were willing to do that. Yeah.
Sustainability is something that y'all are working on too, so let's talk about how that's a part of the garden.
Absolutely. So we have funding from Train locally, and they are about sustainability, and we're working toward that as well. We have here rain barrel, we have composting, we have vermicompost, which is worms, but we're also going to be moving toward harvesting the sun's power through solar energy and offsetting our cost in the garden and in the museum. We also are looking at maybe even wind turbines. But so we're looking for different ways. Another thing that we did was we got rid of sprinklers that we had because they were casting water all over and we were watering the driveway. And so we ended up getting some soaker hoses and have ways to control. We have timers, so we're controlling what we do and just being really mindful about being sustainable.
And we still do have, of course, all these plants are going to attract pollinators because most plants need pollinators in order to complete their cycle. And you've got this passion vine that's the host for the Gulf fritillary. So, and it's quite a vigorous vine.
It is, it is. It's been here for a few years, and when we first took over the garden, it had laid fallow for about a year with the pandemic and everything, and that plant itself had, we cut it back a good bit, but it's doing very, very well.
Sometimes you get somebody who says it's hot, I want to go inside and get inside that giant jungle gym fellow. Have you got a way to get them to stay just a little bit longer and get a little bit excited about plants?
We do. Besides letting them touch some of the herbs and smell them, we have some carnivores, and it's always, I can usually capture a kid if I say, do you want to see a plant that eats bugs, and then we go over and talk about really the smart design of those plants. But another thing that they really love, boys and girls love worms, and we have 3 worm composting bins, so we can turn that over. They can feed the worms. We bring scraps in, but also just turning them over and seeing those worms. If I haven't captured them, then it's time for them to go and find something in the museum to do.
I believe that the South Carolina Department of Agriculture has been a good friend to y'all as well.
Absolutely. We are certified South Carolina grown, and we are very keen on growing plants that are locally grown, that are locally sourced.
And I imagine that that means when you need extra things for the kitchen, you make certain that you buy those from people who grew them locally if possible.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah, agriculture's our biggest industry, and I think EdVenture is just lots and lots of fun. I'm way over 10, so I probably can't get inside the giant boy, but I sure do want to look around.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for coming. This was wonderful.